I'll take that 3-1. I'll take that 3-1 win, make it 5 in a row for the Dodgers. What's happening? This is the Blue Review. I am Greg Bergman at Bergman Greg on Instagram and Twitter and everywhere else. And you are also watching on ESPN LA Periscope at the exact same time. So that's pretty cool. Apparently my Instagram is not actually working at the moment, and I'm not, or not Instagram. Instagram is working. And by the way, if you're on Instagram watching me right now, you get the added benefit of being able to see the Warriors-Clippers game upper in that top corner over there. So congratulations to you. If you don't like seeing me, you can actually watch the game in the corner over there too, because I'm in the ESPN LA studios. So, that's pretty dang cool, isn't it? All right, well, anyway, that was a big game. That's 3-1 win for the Dodgers. They have now won 5 in a row and have gone to 13-8. 13-8 on the year after losing 6 in a row. They've now won 5 in a row. Way, way better that way. Let's check out what people have to say. I got good win from Charlie81. David Portillo, yeah, it is. Dava Steve, why are you no longer on Dodgers Nation? Dodgers Nation and I just didn't see eye to eye on a couple things, and we decided to go separate ways. I'm doing my own thing. You can find me here, which you have, so thank you very much for doing that. Plus, you can also find me on ESPN Los Angeles, and then if you want to watch any of the Lakers posts, there's on Showtime Forum. So I'm everywhere still. Don't worry about that. JVZ says Urias needed that. Yes, 100%. We're going to get all into Urias. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff going on here. But, I have a Showtime Forum underneath there. That was the wrong thing to have there. I'm still used to this. This is still a newer situation for me. We'll get it all figured out. Don't worry about it. Dan said Kenley is scaring me. Kenley is still pretty early. We're going to get into the pen. We're going to get into Julio Urias. We're going to get into Cody Bellinger. We're going to get into being 5 in a row. But I want to read what you guys have to say first before I get into my stuff. So that way we can have a little bit of a conversation. Dava Steve, love your post shows. I appreciate you, Dava. What is with Kenley? We're going to get all into Kenley. I think that it's still pretty early on Kenley. So we'll start off there that Kenley is still pretty early, but he has the cutter moving. You saw it a couple times. He's still around that 92, 93 mile per hour on his velocity. Needs to get a little bit up there, a little bit more. JKM Jerry, zero confidence in this bullpen. Absolutely. Doogie Mania. I don't actually know. I don't agree with the bullpen. I'm going to get into all that in just a few minutes. Al's Acoustic, what's up? What's up, Al's? How are you? A lot of people concerned with Jansen. We're going to get a lot of that to start off. Jess Amori, what's happening, Jess? What's going on? Blue Heaven misses you. I miss Blue Heaven, and you know what? I've talked to FRG, and FRG will probably be joining me on a post game at some point. So don't feel bad. It just shows there's no bad blood. FRG will be joining me at some point. And should I say hi for you? Absolutely. I love those guys. I actually texted with Clint Pasillas just today because I saw him on KTLA, and I actually watched the whole thing. It was awesome. I'm really happy that those guys are building themselves into being the Dodgers pregame and the Dodgers place to go. It's great for them. Caleb Fridge 1, Cody Bellinger has turned into a god. Well, at this point, he's at 10 home runs. Yes, Cody Bellinger is as close to god status as we're going to get in the middle of April. But, all right, Urias, got from Aaron MP, being really happy about Urias. AWSKR says, what did you think about Joe Kelly? That's 2 straight outings where he's been clean. So, you know what? He got lucky on that Doogie. And that Verdugo just bullet to home to get the guy out at first. That was awesome. Very, very big on that. Our pitching is stacked. Big Gene Stud, that's 37313. Agreed with you, and we're going to get into all that. Valerie Arianga Lima says, yay, Dodgers. And Ruben Moreno says, here. You know what? I got to get rid of this number lock because it blocks me on what you're actually saying over here on Facebook. Here from Santa Mar, I can't see what that says. This is a little bit rough, but we're still working out the kinks with my teeny little laptop. So I need to see what's the best way to see all of this stuff. Let's see what's going on over here. Got that one. My Periscope is not seemingly working at the moment, so I got to get that going. Listen, Jan, stay up. What's up with Ginger Jesus? He's struggling at the beginning of the season, and that's pretty typical of Justin Turner to be struggling at the beginning of the season. It's kind of what he does. But all right, let me get into a little bit about what I want to talk about, and then we'll get right back into your stuff because, like we always like to say, this show is about you and what you guys want to talk about. It is the people's show, is how I like to say it. So what we're going to start off is 5 in a row. It's really funny. I put 5 in a row at the top here because I thought it was important to do that. Last week, I was here on Friday with the very first Blue Review, and now this is number 2, and I'm going to be doing a whole bunch more of these. I'm going to be doing every Wednesday and every Sunday, which should pretty much get me one per series. So I'll be doing one post-game from the ESPN LA studios Wednesdays and Sundays after. I know today is Thursday, but yesterday was a day game at 12 o'clock. So for the most part, if it doesn't affect Mason and Ireland, I will be doing the post games here from the ESPN LA studios Wednesdays and Sundays. So I will be here on Sunday to talk about the end of the series against the Brewers. But 5 in a row. 5 in a row. It's very funny because I actually had on my topics last Friday, it said 5 in a row also, but it had a hand in the face emoji, and I almost really did just hit myself in the face, so that was pretty cool. But it had 5 in a row last week in the exact same spot with a hand in the face because they lost 5 in a row, and now here we are a week later, and after Sunday, they've now won 5 in a row. So it's all about, this is how the beginning of the season worked. People were freaking out and it was getting a little bit upset because, oh my God, they lost 6 in a row. What's going to happen? But here we are, and we're now on the next Thursday, and they've won 5 in a row, 13-8, and they are just about back in first place where they belong in the NL West. And again, one of the best teams in baseball where they belong because that's kind of who they are. And really, I want to get into a little bit about Julio Urias because there's a lot to unpack when it comes to Urias, especially with his start tonight. This was by far the best start he's ever thrown as a Dodger. And he's not even that old. I believe he's 21, maybe 22 years old. But he is a young kid. I think he's 21 still. But he's a young kid, and they call him the kid. He's not the teenager anymore. He's the kid. But he threw the best outing he has ever thrown, and this is in a tough ballpark too. Miller Park is not easy to pitch in because the ball flies, and you could see when Bellinger hit his home run and Muncy hit his home run, those balls were just blasted out of here because the ball flies at Miller Park, and he kept the ball in the infield to the point where he only gave up 1 hit in 6 innings. He gave up 1 hit, 9 Ks, 91 pitches. That is a very, very efficient, great outing for Julio Urias, and especially since this is the last outing for him in the starting rotation when he's going to be moved immediately back into the bullpen because on Saturday, Hyun-Jin Ryu's coming back, so he will be back in the rotation. Rich Hill is coming back. He has one more. Rich Hill has one more, has to go through the minor league start one more time, and then he'll be back into the starting rotation as well, and your starting rotation all of a sudden looks really, really good. But Urias was unbelievable tonight. He had everything working. He had the fastball working. He had the slider working, which when that slider is working, it's a really big out pitch for a lot of guys, especially for somebody like Julio Urias, where he was getting strikeouts on that pitch. Plus, when he had the change working too, he was changing speeds. You could see it, where he was throwing 96 miles an hour and just blowing it by people, and he would drop it down to a changeup with basically the same motion at 81 and just getting guys out that way too. So that's a huge thing to have. When you can change speeds that much, a 15 mile per hour difference, that's a huge deal for a pitcher. So for him to be able to throw back up in the 90s, in the high 90s, when last year he was barely touching 94 after his shoulder surgery, this is a big outing for him, and it was a great one, especially coming off being his last one in the starting rotation. So I'm very, very happy with him. I don't know what else there really is to say about Cody Bellinger anymore. The guy is just on absolute fire. He doesn't make mistakes. And you know what the only mistake that he has made that I've seen that I could really even think about right now this entire year so far was he got on base, and I believe it was in the 3rd or 4th inning, and I think it was the 3rd inning, or maybe it was earlier, I don't remember. No, it must have been the 2nd inning. Yeah, it was the 2nd inning because he got on base and he was then he got picked off going to second base, trying to steal second base. He had a big old jump, but he just wasn't there. It was too much. The next batter was A.J. Pollock, ended up probably would have been a double play ball, so it didn't matter. But then Max Muncy came up and hit a long double that probably could have scored him. But that was probably the only mistake that I've really seen out of Bellinger this entire year because he just hasn't done anything wrong. He's great defensively. He's great offensively. I mean, let's just look at his numbers right now. They're bananas. He has 10 home runs, which is the first guy to hit 10 home runs in the National League, even though I know Christian Yelich got one in the 9th inning against Kenley Jansen, but that made it to 10 for him as well. But Cody was the first, and Cody is just absolutely destroying the ball. He's over 430 batting right now. Look, That's not going to stick around. Cody Bellinger is not going to be hitting 400 for the rest of the year. He's not going to be perfect. He's going to go through a slump. But this is the Cody Bellinger that we've kind of been expecting for the last couple of years, because this is who last year was that sophomore slump after he hit, I think it was close to 30. He had 39 home runs the year before. Then he had the sophomore slump and it dropped. You're starting to see the same guy again that we're kind of expecting out of Cody Bellinger. So hopefully this is something that he can maintain throughout the entire year, because right now it's very, very early. It's April 18th. So they're 13-8, so that's only 21 games. They still have to go to 162. I think we got a little bit more time to really worry about this. 141 more games is a lot of games, but he is on pace for that MVP type pace. So if he can keep this up, that would be gigantic for this team. And then Max Muncy, who has been struggling at the plate. He had a couple hits today where he got a double and he had a home run, and it was a 2-run home run that really made a very, very large difference in that game, because if it was a 1-0 game and Christian Yelich comes up and hits that home run against Kenley Jansen in the 9th inning, you have a tie game. So those two insurance runs from Max Muncy were really, really big. And not only that, after 5 innings, Julio Urias was about 81 pitches. And so when he was there, 81, 82 pitches, and there was a tie game 0-0 going into the 6th inning. So the Dodgers put up 3. They did, so Urias went back out for that 6th inning, got up to 91 pitches, got right out of that inning with no problem whatsoever, a quick 1-2-3 inning, and then you go, but you don't see him there if it was a 0-0 game again, I don't think. He was at over 80 pitches. You were getting the top of the order. He was at 1-2-3 in the top of the 6th inning, or the bottom of the 6th inning. So I could just see them taking out. He has not actually seen a rotation or a batting order 3 times of the way through, and today he did, because they had that 3-0 cushion and nobody could really hurt him. And he was great coming through that and got up to his 9th K, so great for him. And then it comes down to the pen, and we really talk a lot about the bullpen a lot, and what's the problem, and who. I think this is where you really start to see what's happening with this bullpen in general, because what we're seeing now is you're seeing Caleb Ferguson in a tight game come in and pitch an inning and a third. Then you have Joe Kelly, who in another tight game, this is where he was supposed to be. He was supposed to come in that 8th inning and pitch get 2 outs, 3 outs, and not give up any runs. That's what we brought him along for. So now we've had 2 straight innings where he has had clean innings. And before that, he actually had another 1 or 2 clean innings, and they put him in for a 2nd inning to give him some more time, and he would give up runs there. So I think this is just showing you that Joe Kelly can be good. He did give up the single that could have scored, I believe it was Pena, but he could have scored Pena from second, but instead you had a great throw, a gigantic throw from Alex Verdugo, who just tossed them out at home with a cannon for an arm in left field. This is what you're seeing with Alex Verdugo, is so much more, that his arm is so great, and he's been hitting lights out this year. Absolutely lights out. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. But the pen, I really think is not as bad as people think it is. Pedro Baez has looked much better in the pen. So now you have Ferguson looking really good. You have Baez looking really good. Joe Kelly is starting to look a little bit better. Ross Stripling is going to move back into the bullpen after Rich Hill comes back, most likely, which means that Stripling, who just threw 8 shutout innings 8 innings. He didn't actually give up 1 run in the 8th inning, but it was 8 innings on Sunday and pitches tomorrow. Another guy that is going to be moving to the pen, and Urias, who pitched lights out 6 innings of 0-run ball, 1-hit ball, 9 Ks, is also going to the pen. So I think the pen is in a really, really good spot, actually. And the worries that we had for the guys kind of like Brock Stewart, not there anymore. Yimi Garcia is going to probably stick around, but he is also, because he doesn't have any more options, but Yimi Garcia was one of the problems, and he's starting to get a little bit better. But the guys that you're going to see at the back end of the bullpen, when you really, really matters, are going to be strong. And now you have a starting rotation of Clayton Kershaw, who came back and was fire besides that 1 pitch to Yasiel Puig. Walker Buehler looked great the other night. Ross Stripling is going back to the pen, but Hill will be back. He's pitching well. Hyun-Jin Ryu is coming back. He's been pitching well. And Kenta Maeda's been pitching pretty well, too, and he's going to be still there for a while. So there is a lot of good pitching on this team. They're starting to show why they are one of the best teams in all of baseball. And this is it right now. So, all right, that's enough from my stuff here. Let's get into what you guys want to talk about and what is important to you, because that's what the Blue Review is all about. It's all about what you guys want to talk about. You are the show. Gonzalez Jr. Javier says, thumbs up. Timer is right. Zach Fisher, 2006. Happy that Bueller looks like his old self again. Yeah, look, that was a great outing for him last night. Yeah, but is there great pitching? Yes, I believe this is great pitching. I believe that this pitching staff can absolutely move you into the postseason and be very, very good in the postseason. And look, let's think about it this way. Once we get to July and you're starting to, like, was that June, July? When you start getting into that right around the trade deadline, they absolutely will be going after somebody that is a big name. They will spend on that. SoCal King, Blue Review, dig the name, MPG. Appreciate that, SoCal King. I like it too. It may not even be, it wasn't even mine that came up with it. That was Cole Wright, who will be joining me at some time. You know him from the NFL Network and Sportsnet LA. Ryan D. Montez, the team is slowly coming together. Great way to break it down, Greg. I appreciate it, Ryan. Yes, it is slowly. It takes time. But through all that, they got to 13-8 through guys trying to figure themselves out a little bit. And it's still not there yet. Look, Corey Seager hasn't totally figured himself out yet. Justin Turner hasn't gotten there yet either. Austin Barnes, who was really good early on, has kind of fallen off and has been not that great offensively and has had a couple passed balls as well, which has been a little bit of an issue, but he's still my guy this year. I'm all about it. Kike has dropped a little bit as well. He went 0 for 4 tonight, and he's below 300 after that. Look, batting averages are going to change over and over again, but over the last 7 games is when it really matters. And if we look, besides coming into tonight, the last 7 games, you have guys like Kike Hernandez has been hitting under 200. AJ Pollock right at 200 coming into tonight. Max Muncy 222. So guys are still trying to figure it out. It will be better, but Cody Bellinger is just carrying you. Alex Verdugo is carrying you. Chris Taylor's been hitting well when he's been in there against a lefty. You move Jock out for when you're facing a righty. It's been a nice mix in there too. So there's a lot of good things here. Over here on the ESPN LA Periscope, I got a bunch of you talking. Let's see. Is Turner hurt? Yes, JKM Jerry. He's not 100% himself yet. He's back. At least he's playing again. And that's the biggest part of all of this, is that he's playing again. Go pay for Kimbrel. All right, so here's the thing with Craig Kimbrel. Everybody says, go get Kimbrel. Go get Kimbrel. He is going to cost you a lot of money. I'm talking like $16, $17 million a year for 3 years to get him. He is not going to be cheap. He is going to be somebody that you absolutely have to pay in order to get. And do you really want to pay bullpen guys again? Because I know I don't. We already saw what we got with Joe Kelly, hoping that he's going to be good, and where looks like he's starting to get there. He's just not there yet. So, but do you really want to go pay somebody that type of money when it's been when you have a really good bullpen already? I'm not in on it. If you want to go get Dallas Keuchel for a year and to be like your fifth starter on a cheap contract, if he'll take it and just kind of reset himself, maybe. But I think the starting rotation is fine there as well. JKM Jerry Urias should be a starter. I don't agree with that either. He's just too young. You have to let his arm. I don't want him being a starter right now in April. If he's pitching so well and he wants to be a starter when it gets to August, September, and into the playoffs, all about it. All about it, but let's just wait on that. It's not that time yet. Ernie Vasquez 14. Dodgers had so many young potential all-stars, it's ridiculous. Yeah, they do. There's a ton of them. And if you look at who they have, this team is stacked, top to bottom, completely stacked. Let me get a little bit of water here. Zach Fisher 2006. We do not need Brandon Morrow again. He had that one good year. We haven't seen much out of him. He was pitched well last year before he got hurt. But again, that's another bullpens change yearly, daily. I'm not in on that. Let's see. We got Alzacusta. Urias was also effective with his bunts. He was, and so that's another. It's a young guy that understands a lot of the game. Maxim Bay, I'm very happy with the performance, but going forward, they got to improve their runners in scoring position batting. You know, that's funny that you say it that way. It was a little bit rough today, but you're playing against a very good team. I think we need to understand what we're seeing out of this Milwaukee team. Milwaukee is one of the best teams in all of baseball as well. They took us 7 games in the NLCS last year. They had the MVP in Christian Yelich last year, and that is a strong team. Lorenzo Cain was second on the team in WAR behind Yelich, and he was the MVP. So there was a lot of things from this team that you're seeing, but also Zach Davies has been lights out this year. And really what the Dodgers did against Zach Davies was great. You got him out after 5 innings of over 90 pitches because of their patience, because they were just waiting on the good pitch. They would constantly in the 3-2 count. Maybe they would get a hit. Maybe they would just get somebody on. They would move somebody over to the third, but it usually happened when there was 2 outs. So, yes. And then there was a stat that came up below that. They were at one point they were 284 against with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. They're batting almost 300 with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. That's a huge number and is very high. I believe I'm not sure on the number. I got to really look it up. They have to be right around the number 1 seed overall in that, because that's a huge. So when you say they got to improve their runners in scoring position batting, it's actually been very, very strong. So let's be a little bit understanding about that too. It's not, they rely a little bit on the home run ball, but you're starting to see this year more so that they're not as reliant. I get that they got 3 runs all on home runs tonight, and they've been using the home run ball a lot more, but they started off the year really doing other things and just getting on base. And you've seen Cody Bellinger. Look at what you're seeing from Bellinger, who's changing his game. He is beating the shift consistently, and he is number 1 against the shift in the league. I asked Rick Krajewski for the numbers, but then I was like, hey, what's Cody Bellinger against the shift this year? And then I realized to myself, and he said it to me as well, Cody Bellinger is always against the shift. Every single one of his at-bats are against the shift. So technically, if it says that he's batting .432, then he's .432 against the shift, which makes complete sense, right? Ryan D. Montez, he happened to say no because of the return of Hill and some changes. Oh, you're talking to somebody else there. And the Dodger Dude has joined. What's up, Dodger Dude? By the way, Dodger Dude is I'm a huge fan of the Dodger Dude. He has helped me out a ton over at Showtime Forum, and now he's helping me out here along with ESPN LA and on these Dodgers postgame. The Blue Review, very much helpful to you, Dodger Dude. Thank you very much for always being here. Kevin Jason Yao, as long as we get 19 runs and we don't have to keep Kenley to see Kenley, so we good. Kenley is necessary. You need Kenley to go far in this. Always. He is your closer. He is going to be your closer down the stretch. He is a big guy to have in this. Right now he's throwing about 92 miles per hour on his cutter. The cutter is actually cutting, and that's why he brings it down, right? So you can see he drops down his velocity to 92 because that's actually getting the cutter to cut. And he got a couple guys out. He got Ryan Braun out on the cutter on a strikeout, and then he got Yasmani Grandal to ground out on that cutter by getting him in on the hands as well. After that, Aguilar got on base, but still, you could see that it's starting to come across, and that was just a really good at bat from Jesus Aguilar. So the cutter is moving, and that's a good thing. Now the velocity is still at 92, 93. We need to see him as the season progresses get to about 94 to 95, and then you're starting to see typical of the typical Kenley Jansen that we kind of all expect and know. Ernie Vasquez 14, once Turner and Seager get going, we're going to be even more dangerous. Totally agree, because that's your number 2 and number 3 hitters, and when you start seeing those guys getting some hits, it's going to start coming around. Corey Seager and Justin Turner are both kind of struggling at the moment, and you're starting to see, well, Seager especially, and I've been kind of watching him specifically because I have this argument with Steve Mason pretty consistently. He doesn't think that Corey Seager is going to be to the level of an all-star or MVP type player. I honestly believe that at some point Corey Seager is going to be back into that MVP form. Before he got injured and had the Tommy John, and then he had the hip surgery, all of those things, he was the rookie of the year. Then he was an all-star the next year, and then the year after that, which he was an all-star in his sophomore year, which is usually the slump year. So now the next year was last year, and he got hurt, had Tommy John, and we didn't see anything out of him for the rest of the time. So because of that, he's got to slowly come back. He's just came back. He's just getting ready. As soon as he is actually playing well, I'm expecting to see the ball to fly. I'm expecting him to be more patient, because right now he's really trying to get ahead on pitches. You're seeing it a lot of times. He will swing away, which I know everybody has the ability and has the green light on 3-0 pitches, but he's swinging at 3-0 pitches and not getting in and not getting a hold of them, which has been kind of a bit of a problem. So when he starts being a little bit more patient, taking the walk, or actually getting a hold of a ball in those 3-0 counts or 3-1 counts, then you're going to start seeing the Corey Seager that we all kind of understand. What I really need people to understand about Corey Seager is that last year, I remember looking during the playoffs, about when you go through and you look at batter versus pitcher stats and who is going to be up against who and like what they look like let's say against Zach Davies, or if it was against, David Price or whoever it was that the Dodgers were playing, I always saw Corey Seager batting 400 and above. He always hit guys well. He was a great hitter. He is a great hitter. He's just not there yet. Not on April 18th. Let's see. Baymax and Bay, they need to get better with runners scoring. It's still a problem. We just talked about that. I don't think it's that much of a problem. It's better than you think it is. Ernie Vasquez, 14. Yes, they have the money. Money shouldn't be the issue. The more arms, the better. I pretty much agree with that. But I also think that they have a really, really strong pitching staff. And I don't really want to get rid of anything or go over a luxury tax when you don't have to. Jan, stay off. We'll see Chris Nunn at some point this season, right? I'm not sure. That's another guy that's going to be down there. I think we're going to be seeing you're going to start seeing guys like, I'm blanking. Tony Gonsolin will probably make his way up at some point. Dennis Santana was already up. He went back down. He'll come back up. Jamie Schultz was also up. They brought him in for a minor leaguer from, I believe, Seattle. So he'll be coming up too. You're going to see a lot of guys moving in and out. But for the most part, you're not, maybe an Andrew Tolles at somebody if somebody gets hurt, because people do get hurt, but you're not going to see a lot of position guys coming up. Urias could bat. He's Mexican. The Black Sunday 5150. Urias can bat, and that's a lot of the Dodger pitchers actually can as well. Team Ursola. Greg, do you know what the tax penalty is? It's at 2.0. I believe it's at 208 this year, and they are right around 186. I believe the last I looked at it is about 208, and they're at 186. So they can pay for somebody if they really want to, but don't go pay just to pay somebody. Go out and get somebody because it's necessary for your team. And being 13-8 and being on the right track of being a big name. Or getting somebody at the trade deadline by moving pieces, paying somebody, whatever it needs to be, I think you just wait on that. Who's your 3 outfielders you would like to see play every day more? I think you're starting to see it already. I want A.J. Pollock starting in center field every single day. I want Cody Bellinger playing right field or first base every single day. I would love to see Alex Verdugo play. If Cody Bellinger's playing first, I'd like to see Verdugo in right field. And Jock Peterson I like in left, but only against a righty starter. Otherwise, I want to see Chris Taylor in that left field or Alex Verdugo, who hits lefties well. So Taylor or Verdugo I want to see in that left field spot if Cody is playing in right field. Because Jock Peterson, as great as he's been with his 8 home runs, and still the batting average is what it is, the 8 home runs have been great, and he's been hitting big home runs, it still cannot hit lefties. He's never been able to hit lefties. He still can't hit lefties. And right now, the last I looked at it before this game, which he went 0 for 4 today, so it didn't matter. But against lefties, he was 0 for 8, which means we're just not even going to let you hit lefties. It doesn't even matter at this point. Just don't do it because you can't do it. So maybe he'll get lucky and get a hold of one every once in a while, but you have other guys on the roster, which is what's so great about the Dodgers themselves, is that they are a team the positionality, the interchangeability is all there. So yes, you want to move. You can just put Chris Taylor in, who over the last 7 days has hit over 300. You can put Alex Verdugo in, who's over the last 7 days has hit over 300 and has been over 350 for this entire season. So a lot more there. Dodger Rebel, what's up, Dodger Rebel? I believe you were previously the Village Idiot, now you're Dodger Rebel, so we're just going to go with Dodger Rebel here for you. Now, why did the Brewers send the runner home down by 3 with their MVP on deck? That was a big for us. It was huge, and I think they were just trying to score a run. Because when you had Yelich on deck. Oh, wait, no, that was a little bit later, I believe. Oh, no, you're right. They did have Yelich on deck. They just wanted to get the run. It was a bad move. It was that is you. Yeah, it was a bad move. And that was Craig Counsell just being, and it's also mostly, that was the third base, I don't know who their third base coach is, sending him, and that was mostly his fault. Whether he ran through the sign or not, I don't know. But yeah, Craig Counsell, by the way, is the manager, but he's not the third base coach. If anything, that's on the third base coach. That's on Pena himself for running. If he went through the sign, I didn't see what happened. But also just not trusting a rookie's arm in Alex Verdugo. Verdugo in this series, the series before against the Brewers, in that 3-game set, missed time to throw, and there was a run scored because of it. So, and he threw up the line opposed to being right on the money, but this one was right on the money, and that just shows you what the type of arm that Alex Verdugo has. And yes, one of the reasons why you were able to afford to get rid of Yasiel Puig, which I know a lot of people don't like, but who would you really want him playing over? I understand that AJ Pollock isn't hitting the ball very well, but now I'm asking you, so please put it out there. Tell me if you'd rather have AJ Pollock or Yasiel Puig right now. AJ Pollock hit a 3-run home run to win a game just the other night. So I would personally rather have AJ Pollock, who understands, is a good, solid defensive center fielder, also has a good bat, and Danny Boy 1911 says AJ. A lot of people would much rather hate. I'm very much on the AJ train, and I wanted to see Alex Verdugo get his time and really show what he can do, and that's what we're seeing so far. We're seeing that he can do those things. All right, let's see. My Cindy says, I agree with you, Greg. Once Seager gets more consistency, he'll be in the MVP talks. Totally agree with you. I'm glad that we are on agreement there. Al's Acoustic. Corey has been out for a year. Why don't they play him in AAA? Because you need him in the starting rotation. And what you've seen from Corey has actually been has been pretty good. Over the last 7 days, coming into today, he was 250 with a home run. I mean, he's getting there. It's all coming across. He's batting 318, or he has a 318 on base percentage. It's coming along. It's all coming along. And Dodger Rebel says, I'll take Pollock because we are always on the same page. Ernie Vasquez, I like Dennis Santana as well. So do I. Look, last year, Dennis Santana and Caleb Ferguson came up right around the same time, and they were both supposed to be starters. Ferguson went into the bullpen, and he has basically never left because he's that good out of the pen. I love Caleb Ferguson in the pen. He's been fantastic this year, and he was really good last year, especially in the playoffs. He was lights out. Schloss, Adam Schloss, what's up, man? How are you doing? Get out of the office, go home. I love you, Bert. Love you too, Adam. But no, and by the way, Adam is one of my best friends. Known him for a long time. We worked at a restaurant, BJ's restaurant together. We go to UCLA games together. Good dude right there. Kevin Meteora, does it bother you that Raj from the morning show is a Celtic fan? I've known Raj Groves for going on 15, 16, maybe 17 years. So no, I've always known Raj. I've always known the type of dude that he is. That doesn't bother me. We have discussions every morning about Lakers and Dodgers, or Lakers and Celtics and Dodgers, and he is I believe a Cowboys fan, and yeah, it's all fine. It's sports, man. Look, this is all sports. We're just having fun. And you can't get upset about people over sports. And trust me, if you've seen my timeline on Twitter, people get very, very angry when it comes to sports. I'll tell you what, they think you're just a complete crazy person if you say something that they don't like. I love it, and that's the great thing about it as well. Ryan D. Montez, I think we should call up Dustin May soon if he's ready. If he's ready, and he really is going to get a lot of time in AAA. So why are you going to bring guys up when it's not that time? It's not early enough. It's too early to bring these guys up when you don't need it. It's just not there yet. Oh, boy. I knew I was going to get one of these. Steve-O Tatted, stop kicking Michael out. I do not kick Michael out. Look, I love Michael. 2 segments is enough for Michael, by the way, all right? When you get more than 2 segments, I know he's great and you love him, and when he comes on, he's fantastic. But if you start hearing him more too much, you're going to get annoyed by it, or you're going to start saying... John and Michael will start getting into things that, as an LA fan, you're not going to care about. They're going to start talking about the Milwaukee series, or against Detroit, or they're going to talk about Toronto, or they're going to talk about Orlando, and it's all these games that you really just don't care about. Or they're going to go way over the break time. So when you're complaining about how long the breaks are in between us coming back, we have to double up breaks sometimes because they go so far past the break that I keep telling them break, because if they don't, then we have to double up, and all of that makes it so that your commercial breaks go longer, which you don't want. You want the guys coming back as quick as possible. So if we're gone for 3 minutes, that's better than being gone for 8 minutes, because you have to double up and do all these other things. So it's better this way. Just trust me here. But I love Michael. He's my favorite person here. I was having a whole conversation with him about Bob Myers today. So love Michael. Mike Thompson, #1 boxing WWE talks. Exactly, Rhino. Look, yes, that's what he's going to talk about. And that's why we love Champagne and Nuts, but only for those 2 segments. Trust me on this. But I love him. Jonathan Watson, 0984. What does Urias have to do to crack the rotation? He doesn't have to do much. He just has to wait for people to not pitch well, or he needs to just wait for those guys to be to get injured, or because this is a pitching staff. It's a long season, 162 games. People get hurt. He will be back in the rotation at some point, but we still have to remember, and I talked about it earlier, you still have to remember that Julio Urias is coming off of shoulder surgery still. He hasn't even been back into the league for a year. He hasn't been back that long. He still is young. He still is on a innings limit. So you don't want to waste him now in April when you can have him healthy and strong in August, September, and the playoffs, all those types of things. So we're just not there yet. Bro, what kind of Twitter name is that? I don't know which one you're talking about. The best tweets from Champagne and Nuts. What kind of Twitter name? Oh, the Champagne is Nuts. It's great. I love that name because he loves champagne and he loves nuts. That's what he is. Kevin Meteora, call me crazy. You're absolutely nuts. I had a vision that the San Francisco Giants might trade Bumgarner to the Mets for Syndergaard. All right. If it's a straight up trade, that is yes, I'm going to call you crazy because that in no way makes sense. Syndergaard for Bumgarner at this time makes zero sense. Syndergaard is way younger, a way stronger pitcher, has much more velocity, much more control, or maybe not much more control, but much more velocity. He will be much better pitcher as the years go on. Bumgarner's in that same spot that Clayton Kershaw is in. He is throwing 89 miles an hour, 90 miles an hour, and he's hitting his spots and he's still pitching pretty well, but he's going to give up 3 runs a game. He's going to have a 3+ ERA for this year because that's just who he is. If he gets into the postseason, which I don't think he will, then he'll be a good postseason pitcher like he normally is. But for the year, he's going to be a 3+ ERA, maybe a 4+, and he's throwing 89, 90 miles an hour and doesn't have that much change in velocity from his different pitches. So it's all about location, and he's doing that well, but Syndergaard is way better. Way, way better. AJTAPZ 96. Does Bellinger hit his 100th home run this year? Let's see. He had 39. Then he's got 10s, 49. I don't remember. I think he had 25 somewhere around there last year. I don't remember the exact number that he had last year. So you're looking at about 65, 75. I think it's going to be close. It'll be right around there. I think he does hit 90, but I don't think that he's going to hit 100. I think I like Urias in the pen, makes them stronger there. Verdugo is impressing me. Pollock better than Puig. Totally agree with you. Shane K. Lee, you've always been that guy as well. EJ Rivales, what do you think about these get off my lawn players that get offended by a backflip? A bat flip, I can't stand it. Here's the thing. Bat flip is a part of the game. This is just, people get excited. If you hit a big home run, and it's just a mammoth shot, throw the bat in the air. What do I care? Take it and just toss it however you want. As long as it doesn't hit anybody, who cares? If you have a great pitch, Clayton Kershaw, when he gets a great pitch and he strikes somebody out and it's late in the game, do you not see him put a big old scream going, yeah? That's not upstaging any of the hitters there. You're not seeing somebody throwing a bat at them. Who cares? Absolutely do it. Do that later on. It's just, it doesn't matter. Don't hit guys for that. Stupid. Steve O'Tatted, Rob, to answer your question, you give up everyone. Bumgarner's to the Dodgers. No, I don't want Bumgarner. Verdugo has been energy in baseball. He's been great. The Dodgers dude, Muncy bat drop is my fave. Oh yeah, he just drops it. It's fantastic what he does. He just puts it on the ground, like flips it off to the side. Muncy, big fan of all of that. Oh, I got this. I'm supposed to change these around. Sorry about that. Boop. Hit these little buttons here. I'm supposed to hit the buttons. I'm just not good at it. Steve O'Tatted, that's what made Puig so dope. Bat flips and personality. That's why the fans gravitate towards him. Sure. Absolutely. He was fun. What's up, Zed? So much fun. He was a lot of fun to be watching. He was a great, he had big hits. He had big throws. He would throw guys out from right field at third base. And he'd be like, oh my God, how did he make that throw? It was fantastic. But then the very next play, you know what he would do? The ball, he would be out of position. It would go over his head. He'd dive for it, totally miss it because he was out of position. Or he would go and it would miss it and throw over the cutoff man. And so guys go, instead of only getting to second base, they're getting to third base. Or he's going to home, trying to get someone at home. So the guy from first makes it over to third instead of stopping over at second and allowing the inning to keep going. So he had a ton of those problems. And I loved putting this during the Lakers season. I was always called him, it was Yance Stevenson. Yasiel Puig and Lance Stevenson were the same guy. Fantastic one moment and absolute disaster the next moment. And so those were the type of guys that, to me, I don't want on the Dodgers. I don't think that they're necessary, especially when you have, look, we have to understand what Andrew Friedman wants out of his team. Andrew Friedman wants a team that is good defensively, patient at the plate, has power, And it has positionality and versatility where you can move from position to position. You're not just a first baseman. You're not just a center fielder, right fielder, third baseman, second baseman, catcher. You do everything. If you're needed somewhere else, you go play that position. And that's what's so great about this Dodgers team. Yasiel Puig was not that guy. Yasiel Puig was a right fielder, and that's it. He was great one moment, terrible the next. He would hit a huge home run and then strike out in the bottom of the ninth with bases loaded. He was not the guy. Puig, your friend, yes, and he's so much fun to watch, but he's not good for getting to the World Series, winning a World Series. And when he's good, he's fantastic. When he's bad, you don't want him anywhere near you. Robin Yeezy, I'm out. Catch you later, Greg, Steve, and Zed. Hey, see you later, Robin Yeezy. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, I agree. We are better without him. It's sad, but I agree. Dodger Rebel, agree 100% with Danny Boy, 1911. Not sure what he said. There's a new kid on the block, and his name is Verdugo. But that's another part of Yasiel Puig not being here, right? Because now Alex Verdugo is a guy that you're starting to see more of. And what have we seen from Alex Verdugo? He's batting, has an over 1,100 OPS, especially over the last 7 games, and he's hitting the ball, and he's killing the ball, and just being big. He hit that big double when you to empty the bases. It was huge just a couple days ago. Alex Verdugo on the year, 364, 682 slugging for a 1050 OPS. That's really strong. 3 home runs, 12 RBIs. That's a great thing to have from a backup outfielder. Way better. Grubb and Gunner. Urias is young, need to think long term, not just this year, but for many years to come. Absolutely. Fans love winning more than antics any day. I totally agree with you. If the Dodgers win a World Series, you won't even be thinking about Yasiel Puig. Sure, but he's still money. Yeah, sure. Let Rick lie. Real Anaya 07, definitely glad Puig is gone. Doogie is the future. See, people are starting to understand. They're liking the fact that he's gone now. This is a change. Our outfield is stacked for years. For years. There's guys there's DJ Peters and Andrew Tolles and Jace Peterson and there's another Jake Peters, and there's a whole bunch of guys in AAA that are really good outfielders, and they're not getting brought up. And because there's just a block there. So you're going to start moving guys. And there's another one. Plus DJ Peters is waiting. Exactly. See, there you got one guy saying it. Rick Lai, Puig who or Puig Kien, Grubb and Gunner, couple guys in the minors rated high AF2. Yeah, a ton of them. There's a lot of guys that are rated very, very high, including, and that's in the infield too. You have Gavin Lux, I think he's had 2 or 3 home runs over the last couple of games. He might have had 2 just this last game. He's another guy that could. Where is Tolles? He's in AAA because he can't crack the lineup. There's a bunch of these guys that everybody wants to see, but they can't get here because we're blocked, and not blocked for a short amount of time, for a long period of time. AJ Pollock just got signed for a couple of years. Cody Bellinger is about to sign for a large deal. Alex Verdugo is here for a long time. Is going to be here for a long time. Jock Peterson probably here for a while. Chris Taylor's still young. This whole team is young. That outfield is stacked. You're going to start moving guys from the minor leagues for big names, but where is that going to be? Because even in your catcher, you have Will Smith, who has hit a couple home runs this year in AAA. You have Keibert Ruiz, who's been pitching, who's been very, very good in the minors over the last couple of years. And he was great in the playoffs last year to win for AA Tulsa. To win I guess you call it the series, the playoffs, the World Series of AA baseball. They won the championship game, let's just put it that way, because of Keibert Ruiz. They have other guys that, Diego Cartaya, who's from Venezuela, is another guy that's supposed to be there. There's another Connor Wong, I believe his name is too. There's a bunch of guys in every single position in the minor leagues that are ready to come right up and just take over if anybody struggles. But right now, there's no spot. Because even Kike has been great in that position. Kevin Meteor, Draymond Green is 0 for 2 with 0 points. I saw him have a huge dunk. Was that not him? It must have been Kayvon Looney. Got 6. Oh, but again, another blowout for the Warriors, by the way. 69-46 right now. And by the way, if you're on Instagram, you can actually see it right there. That's right there. So if you want to watch the game while you're listening to me babble on, there you go. There's people everywhere is all I'm trying to say. You have a logjam in the outfield. You have a logjam in the infield. You have a logjam at catcher. You have a logjam in the bullpen. You have a logjam in the starting rotation. This team is built so well for the future that all these guys that you want to see over and over again, if somebody else isn't hitting, there's somebody else to step right in that can hit. So it's very difficult to say what's going to happen, but you're going to start seeing guys moving. You're going to be okay with moving certain guys and Yasiel Puig was one of those guys that you were okay with moving, including Alex Wood. You moved Kyle Farmer, who just was not under favor for the Dodgers as a catcher. They didn't like his defense, so they moved him. They weren't even playing a catcher at the end of the year. So, and he's playing first base with Cincinnati. So that's another guy that isn't even a catcher anymore. But you moved Kyle Farmer, you moved Alex Wood, Matt Kemp, who was old, and you moved his contract again for a second time, which is absolutely crazy. And you moved Puig, all of that. And you got Homer Bailey back, who you just got rid of and just ate his money. And that was it. And now he's gone. It's way better this way. My boy Play, we better win it all this year. I can't take the letdown 3 years straight. Look, I'm with you. This is going to be an absolute, utter disappointment if that happens again. I'm with you. It was a disappointment last year. It was a disappointment against Houston. I need it. I need a win this year, but we're very early. We got to get through 162 games and then postseason. Even easier to forget Puig with the way he handled off-season press. AJ, yeah, you're right. Another guy that's been a problem in the press. It's just who he is. I mean, I don't know how else really to say it because that's just kind of how it goes. Oh, this isn't good. Padres are loaded. AJ, for me, Ruben Moreno, Padres are loaded. Agreed. They are. They're going to be good in a couple years. They're just not there. Just got here. Moises Garcia just got here. What I miss. Let bat flips be great. Agreed. Lauren Montez Puig was the best player in the World Series. He played very well at times. We just have to be clear on the fact that it was at times and not all the time. All these aren't coming across how I want them to, so I'm sorry about that. I'm going to try and read some of the comments if I can find them. And I don't think that my Periscope ever started working. Nope, I got to figure that out. Real Anaya 07, I am iffy on CT3. I feel like he's been on a slump. He's been better. He started off the year on a slump, and he's ended off kind of the year on a slump as well. But over the last 7 games, he didn't play tonight, so we have to go just by his last 7 games. Real Anaya. So Anaya, let's look at his last 7 games, and what you've seen from him has been better. He is over his last 5 of 15, batting .313. He has 2 RBIs. The strikeouts are still high, and he stole a base, but the strikeouts are still high. He's still just... He's not hitting for average right now, and that's kind of what everybody wants to see from Chris Taylor. It needs to be somebody that's going to do that, and that's why he lost his spot to Kike Hernandez. That's why he's just a utility guy. He's the super utility guy that Kike Hernandez was last year. He's just not there yet. CTK, Dodger Rebel from Joey 3 Bets. Yep, that's kind of what he's been recently, but I still like him. I think he's going to get better. Dodger Rebel, CT3 will find his groove. Absolutely. He's still a good defender in the outfield and at second base and at short when you let Corey Seager take some time off. So it's another guy that's going to be just fine. It just takes some time. Chris the Alpha High. What's going on, Chris? Thanks for being in here. JKM Jerry, 31 years and counting, got to do it. Oh, I know. 31 years. 1988 was a very, very long time ago. I was 5 years old. I remember sitting on my couch watching game 1, watching Kirk Gibson hit that home run. I was there with my brother. My parents were out to dinner, and the 2 of us were watching, and I got really excited at 5 years old. It's been a long time. J9 Mama, JT looks frustrated. Hasn't really seen himself. It's still not there. Remember, but let's be clear about him too. He did not have a home run until, I think he only had 2 home runs going into June last year, and then he got up to around 18. So it takes a little while for him to kind of get his groove moving. As long as he's hitting for average and he's getting on base and he's getting big hits and hitting well with 2 strikes and being patient at the plate and getting on base, I'm okay with that. I'd like to see a little bit more power out of him. He's just not showing it perfectly just yet. Astros won't hurt. We should have won that one. Oh, God, I'm not going into that. I had a bad time with that day. I was arguing nonstop. I can't do it again. My brain hurts. And maybe it's not just that this hat is extremely tight. Shane K. Lee, best move was not signing Grandal. He's doing well, but his defense was a liability. Barnes solid. I agree with you 100%. However, with Grandal, he starts off hot. He's a very hot and cold player. He's very hot right now, but then he goes away. Grandal was brutal behind the plate in the postseason. Absolutely brutal. And I just can't stand seeing him in that Brewers uniform. I see him, I just get angry. And it's not even because he's in the Brewers uniform, I don't think. It's because it's just Grandal. And he just drives me bananas because how he was so bad in the World Series and just the playoffs in general last year. He was killer, and I hated it. And so just seeing him makes me upset. So I don't want to even talk about that, dude. Isaiah M05, how often do you go live? Great question. I go live from now on. I know today is Thursday, but yesterday was a day game. I'm going to be going live every single Wednesday and Sunday. That gives me one game per series until about the middle to end of August, maybe into September, when at that point I'm going to start doing every single game leading up to the postseason. So, but as of right now, one game per series. I'm going to do Wednesdays and Sundays. That's the end of the whatever series is, usually about the end of whatever series is from Monday to Wednesday or Tuesday and Wednesday. And on Sundays, which is usually is always the end of that series as well. So I'll be getting 2 in Wednesdays and Sundays. Be here every Wednesday, every Sunday on ESPN LA Periscope, on my Periscope when I actually get it working, on Instagram, on my Twitch, on my YouTube, on my Facebook, everywhere. You can find, and on my Instagram. This is everywhere. So you can find it on 6 different places. If you can't find me, you're having a tough time because I'm in 6 different places. So please go follow all of those. Kevin Meteora, what about Showtime Forum? Showtime Forum is still going to be going on. They are still doing, there's a podcast every week. It should have been out, actually it came out today, the Showtime Forum podcast. And it had a special guest, Golden Knight came on there as well. They had a good, they were fighting a ton on the Slack today or the other day. So that should be a really good one. Also, I'm going to be doing more for Showtime Forum throughout the year, too. When something big happens in Lakerland, I'll be doing from my house, though, not from here. I'll be doing my own Showtime Forum around the ping pong balls, around when we hire a coach or a president of basketball operations, when there's the draft, when there's the free agency. I will be getting on theirs. So what happened to Lakers Raw from Adam McGuire? The same thing that happened to Dodgers Nation. I am no longer with them. We had just a disagreement on how creatively. So I'm just doing this all on my own. I think it's better that way. They have their thing. I'm really happy for what they're doing. We just didn't see eye to eye. And now I'm doing my own thing, and I got ESPN behind me, so I'm very, very happy with that. Irwin and Fire, better celebration, Jock Walkoff or Tim Anderson? Man, that Tim Anderson celebration was awesome. He was so excited. I don't believe he should have been hit. It was stupid for them to hit him. I know some people like the retaliation. He was excited. He threw the bat. He wasn't upstaging anyone. He was just excited. It's dumb. But the Jock Walkoff was pretty great too. And that barely got out. That Jock Walkoff, by the way, barely got out of the yard, and it did. Isaiah M05, Chris Taylor or Kike Hernandez? Right now, Kike Hernandez. And actually, Kike hasn't been hitting the ball too well recently, but I think he's better defensively, even though they're pretty even. Better defensively, and his offense has been much, much better this year. I think he's got 6 or 7 home runs this year already. Got to give Ray a shout out. Absolutely. Ray and Adele are doing, Ray El Barbone and Adele Del Toro have been doing a fantastic job. And by the way, Adele Del Toro does so much for me, and I'd rate all the guys at Showtime Forum do a ton. But Adele Del Toro is hype manning for me right now from the ESPN, from my Twitter, to put all this stuff out for that's saying all the things that I'm saying and aggregating my words and putting them out on Twitter. So huge shout out to Adele. He is the best at all of that stuff, and he's been killing it on the Showtime Forum Twitter page as well. But everybody at Showtime Forum has just been absolutely great, and I don't want to go through everybody, but I couldn't do any of it without them. They're fantastic. 4 home runs for Kike, so he's at 4. I thought he had 6. Oh no, that was Jock. You're right, that was Jock that had 6. So we have 5 for Muncy, 4 for Kike, 8 for Jock, 10 for Belly, and 3 for Verdugo. So yeah, those are good numbers to me. I'm not sorry. Those are all very good, strong numbers for me. Over here, back here on Facebook, Peak was the let's see. Ron Boyne, sell high on Peterson and Muncy. Ron, welcome. What's up, man? I've always been sell high on Max Muncy guy. I know a lot of people are gonna be really upset with me for that, but I've always been high on Max Muncy guy. I just don't think he's going to have the same year that he had. He's already struggling at the plate, except for he's been better recently. He's going to get you extra bases a lot because of just how his swing is, and he's going to get you home runs, but he's got 5 now. He had 35 last year. I don't think he matches that number, and I think he's going to struggle with hitting for average. That was his big thing last year, was the fact that he had that strike zone that was very, very small that he understood, and with the way that he crouched and the way that that strike zone was, how it all worked out, he understood it, where he wasn't swinging at pitches inside or outside. He waited for that pitch that he really liked on the inside, and he would just get a hold of it. and I'm just not seeing it as much this year. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that was a guy that I would have sold high on in the offseason. I don't think it's going to happen now. Jock, I could see possibly going because he just can't hit lefties, but against righties, he's killer, and that's kind of how this team works. They like that versatility, so I don't think either one of them are going to go as of now. And I think Jock has really shown his abilities recently. Lauren Montez, love listening. Thank you, Lauren. I appreciate that. Sandra, Erica, you're just tagging someone. Hey, well, thank you. Tag people. Absolutely. Let them know what's going on here. Let them know. Dodger Rubber, glad Bellinger getting hit in the knee didn't affect his game. That was scary. That was extremely scary seeing what happened to Cody Bellinger. Everyone was watching that game. That hit him square in the knee. That was a bad shot. And with that could have been a disaster, an absolute disaster for the Dodgers, and it didn't happen. It was very much, he came back just a couple games later. Huge, absolutely gigantic to see that happen, because without him, that could have been crazy. It would have been another Hanley Ramirez situation, or a Justin Turner. Justin Turner just last year when he got hit in the wrist and broke his wrist, that was bananas. That was awful. We're hoping that doesn't happen again. So I'm very, very happy that he didn't that didn't affect his game at all. Joey 3 Bets, are we too afraid to insult Kenley? No, absolutely not. I'm not afraid to insult Kenley. I think that I just believe that he's going to be stronger as the year goes on. It's going to be much better. So, thank you very much for pointing that out. Muncy's OPS is 920. Yes, OPS shows you a lot, because a lot of that is from his slugging percentage, which is very, very high. So, I know I skipped over a question there. I apologize. But yes, Max Muncy is hitting 920 OPS, but that's because his slugging percentage is over 500 and right around 600. And we hit a double tonight and a home run, so that's going to pop up even more. He's going to be close to 600 in his slugging percentage. So that's obviously going to put you way, way up there. But to your point, he does have about a 350 on base percentage, which is great. So happy with that. Kenny looked pretty okay today. He did give up a run. He gave up a home run to Christian Yelich, which basically Christian Yelich is hitting a home run off of everybody. So that doesn't really hurt too much. And it was a 3-0 lead at that time. But that's what he does. Kenley Jansen gives up runs when they don't matter. He gives up runs when he has those 3-0 lead. No, but as long as he doesn't give it up to actually blow the save, which I don't think he has a blown save yet this year. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure. I know he's given up a run in the last 4 games, each one of the last 4 games, but I don't think he's blown a save yet. Isaiah M05, is Verdugo a rookie? Yes, Verdugo is a rookie. He does not have enough time up. I know he was up a little bit last year, but he does not have enough time as a regular to be. He is a rookie this year. This is Alex Verdugo's rookie season. It's very weird how that all works. He came up in September. I think he was in for a little bit of August, but for the most part, he came up late. He is a rookie right now. This is his first full season as a Dodger. The Aaron MP, Kenley gets me nervous every time with the occasional cookies he throws. He does. He gives up a home run as long as they're in times when they don't matter. It's the big home runs that are the worrisome ones, and I don't think it's actually there just yet. Thankfully, he's not that bad yet. All right, so I got Grub and Gunner. MPG, yes, I'm right here. Sunday Fun Day, Grub. Yes, I will be here on Sunday early. Real Anaya, hell yeah, Def my favorite producer of all 3 shows. Hey, thanks a lot, Real Anaya. I appreciate you for that. Selly Sells, what's up, Selly Sells? Pitching has looked good the last 5 games. Yeah, look, let's actually go back. In those 5-game winning streak, you had Ross Stripling throw on Sunday, go and throw 8 innings. Great. Then you had Clayton Kershaw come out and he threw 7 innings. Then you had Maeda go 6 2/3 innings, and now you have Urias going 6 innings. I mean, they're just, and I'm missing. Oh, Walker Buehler went, I believe, into the 7th. Or maybe he was 6 2/3. He was right around there as well, but it was all past the 6th inning. All these guys are all going past it, and that's usually a recipe for a win, because when you get guys, those are quality starts. Quality start is 6 innings, 3 or less runs, and they're all giving up 0 or 1 runs in those 6 innings. That's big. 1, 2, somewhere around there, because I know Kershaw gave up that 2-run home run to Yasiel Puig. All right, I'm in my 2-minute warning. 2 minutes, and then I'm done. I'm out of here. I can go home. I've been here all day. All right, so I'm going to answer 1 or 2 questions from each, and then I'm going to get out of here. Politico 210, how long you sticking sticking with Kenley. I'm sticking with Kenley until he really starts blowing up. I'm talking like middle of the season. If he has like 5, 6, 7 blown saves, he's got an ERA up in the 5s. If he's really that bad, then I'm down on him, but I'm just not there yet. Let's see. Aaron Yee's buddy. How do you feel about Stripling possibly being our setup man? Look, there's a bunch of guys in that bullpen. Yes, Stripling can be that guy. He also can be a long man where he goes 2 innings, and when you really need him, when a guy goes away only goes for for 1 inning, or it goes like 1, 2, 3 innings. Yeah, then you can have Ross Stripling come in and pitch you 2, 3 innings and get you out. He's your long reliever. He's going to be necessary. Give away endgame tickets right now. I can't do that. Sorry. Max was 2 runs yesterday. Max is starting to figure it out. And so I'm just saying that he was a guy that I was very much on a sell high at the beginning of the year, and I'm hoping that he gets past all of that. All right, I think that's the last one I got here. Best mythical money bet was betting against the Rams. My best mythical money bet was betting on the Patriots and the under and giving me $60,000, and I'm at $165,000 right now with all my bets. So yeah, I'm very happy with my mythical money bets at the moment. All right, I only have about 20 seconds left, so I just want to say thank you for very much for being here on the Blue Review. I'll be back here on Sunday against the last game against Milwaukee, and I'll be here every Wednesday and every Sunday at the ESPN LA studios doing these live post games with you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys again on Sunday. Thank you very much. I'm out of here. All right, see ya.